Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you,
we
sir.
will,
Thank you, sir.
now we will meet on 10th October. है ना?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Right. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. जय कुमार सर को मैंने होस्ट बना दिया है.
जी.
Okay.
जी.
All right.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
We will. Sabir bhai. Sabir bhai.
Yes.
Acha,
I am
acha.
here.
So, would you like 2 minutes break, bio break before we begin? Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 to 5 minutes will do. I think we should have 5 minutes.
ठीक है,
अभी 3:03 हुए तो 3:07-8 पे जुड़ जाते हैं.
ठीक सर. बहुत बढ़िया.
Yes, we will go ahead. Yeah. Requesting you to the spine erect, keeping your shoulders proper, keeping it in parallel to the floor, having your whole body settle down. Slowly inhale. Gently open your eyes. Thank you very much. Friends, in the last class, we were discussing about the evolution, the whole evolution understanding as to how the Prakriti has come into existence, how the transformation of the species have taken place, as we were discussing about Sutra number 2, 3, and 4. Apart from the first one, which literally tells us Janma, Aushadhi, Mantra, Tapaha, Samadhijaha, Siddhayaha. So Siddhis can be acquired directly from birth. There are people who have this kind of Siddhis because of the past sadhana. After having some chemicals, and these stories of having chemicals and going ahead and having Siddhis is very famous in Tantra Yoga, or you can say Hatha Yoga practices. If you come across certain text written by Gorakshanath and Matsyendranath and all, you will find they are giving us various combinations about the drug to attain that kind of Siddhi. Yes, friends, there is a literature available on what you should have and how you should have and what will lead you towards that experience of Siddhi. Then mantra, to we are already knowing that how various mantras are giving us various powers. And of course, the method of Samadhi, right from the Yama Niyama to Dharana Dhyana Samadhi, we know this whole process of attaining the Siddhis. Then we understood the part of evolution, Jatyantara Parinamaha, Prakriti Apurat. So how the transformation into the other species is because of the innate flow of the nature. or the flow of the innate nature, you can say. It explains the Indian concept of the evolution of the species. Last class, we were discussing about the Darwin's theory of evolution, where the mutation of cells helps us to create a particular species. And he says the mutation happens by chance. So making us understand that due to that particular chance factor where the mutation is taking place, that chance factor can be connected to the evolution of consciousness, making us go through this understanding of evolution. In the sutra number 3, as we understand, nimittam aprayojakam prakruti nam varna bhedastu tata kshetrikavat. There has to be the incidental cause to bring about that transformation. And this incidental cause is like, only to remove the obstacle in the natural flow. That incidental cause does not bring about the transformation, but that incidental cause is responsible to remove the obstacles in that flow, like a farmer does while irrigating the field. This we discussed in the last class. And with that discussion, we came to the understanding of the construction of the artificial mind, that is nirmana chitta factor. And that is where we are coming to this sutra number 4. Nirmana chittani asmita matrat. Artificial minds are created from pure eye sense, and pure eye sense alone. As we were discussing about the transformation and the evolution theory, as per Bhagavad Gita, if you remember, in the 15th chapter, the Jivatma, when it leaves one body after death, carries with it the essence of mind and senses, even as the wind as we say, that from its seats and enter into the new body that is acquired. He then constructs the mind and the senses from Prakriti. First, the pure eye sense, that is Asmita, is created, and from Asmita, the mind is created. So, if you, in the first part, that is the initial shlokas only, we come across this explanation. The mind, which we say as a natural faculty, it contains all the samskaras, the very subliminal imprints of the past experiences, which has been acquired through evolutionary processes. All our action tendencies that we go through day by day, you may not be understanding it, but they are, they are guided by these sanskaras. They are influenced by these sanskaras. And that is where we call our existence at that point of time connected to that kind of mental personality. A chitta functioning in accordance with this kind of latent impressions will certainly create bondages. Whereas a highly evolved yogi who is possessing a pure chitta, a mind which is devoid of the imprints or the impressions, the samskars, Such a pure mind is free from what we call as vasanas. Because these vasanas, these desires, are the normal factors which motivates us into various actions. And as a yogi's mind is not having any kind of motivation for any kind of vasana influenced actions, such yogis, are there for imparting the spiritual knowledge. Such yogis with this kind of pure understanding are like, a guiding force behind their disciples. And they are there for that, imparting that knowledge, as if with their mind they are creating artificial minds. The nirmana chitta, which we are talking about. So such kind of artificial minds are created by pure eye sense only, that is asmita matra. And such pure eye sense is available only with a pure chitta personality. And there is some kind of, additional information coming to us from Vyasa Bhashya, where it is said that a advanced yogi can create artificial bodies, nirmana kaya also, along with the artificial minds, that is nirmana chitta. And these yogis, they use, in fact, they are used to do this kind of experiments by using such kind of nirmana kaya or nirmana chitta for fulfilling certain tasks, friends. And as soon as the task or the purpose is fulfilled, the artificial mind or the body vanishes. हमने ये सब सुना है ना, विश्वामित्र का स्टोरी, कि इंद्र को घबराहट हो गई कि विश्वामित्र की साधना से शायद वो एक दिन आकर देवलोक पर राज करने लगे, ऐसा कहते हैं. अभी आई डोंट नो हाउ माइथोलॉजिकल स्टोरीज आर वेरी ट्रू और how they should be guiding us, but when I go through the such kind of sutras, फिर ऐसे लगता है कि this is the possibility. So Indra comes down on earth in the form of Menka, the beautiful damsel, and shows with his attractive gimmicks that even Vishwamitra is also having that beej of vasana in him, which can falter him to go for that downfall. So here possibility is there that this can be used to carry out certain work or certain purposes. To be very clear with you, friends, this kind of artificial minds do not accumulate latencies, nor do they create bondages, because they are created by the willpower, you can say. And when they are created by the will, they can also be dissolved by the will. So that is where some yogis, who are having this knowledge of practicing sanyama, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, they can create artificial minds and the bodies for evacuating the past impressions, or you can say, the accumulated actions, which we call as sanchita karma. So this is the explanation which is coming to us and trying to make us understand how nirmana chitta or the nirmana kaya, as per Vyasa Bhashya, can be taken help of by the yogis in order to carry out certain purpose. And there, if we go ahead and try to understand the next sutra, it says pravrutti bhede prayojakam chittamekam anekasham. When we say chitta ekam anekasham, we need to understand in the various activities, the one mind directs the artificial minds which are deployed in various activities. और कभी कभी तो ऐसे लगता है कि आज की दुनिया में जब हम मल्टीटास्कर बन गए हैं, तो sometimes I wonder, a housewife or a homemaker busy in the kitchen also keeps her ear to the song on the radio or the dialogue baji which is happening on the serial in the TV, and at the same time keeps her eyes on the child who is doing the homework, and just make sure that her husband who is enjoying a Saturday holiday, weekend holiday, is into some or the other activities, and what is he doing there? अभी आप सोचो, एक तो खाना भी पका रही है, जो टीवी पे सीरियल चल रहा है उसका डायलॉग भी सुन रही है या गाना भी सुन रही है, बच्चा होमवर्क कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है या मोबाइल में इन्वॉल्व है वो भी देख रही है. कहीं ना कहीं हम लोगों ने आर्टिफिशियल माइंड क्रिएट करने के लिए अपने आप को ट्रेन कर लिया है. तो वी आर आर्टिफिशियल योगीज ऑफ द मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, यू कैन से दैट वे. Ideally, this is not supposed to be happening. But here the principal mind or the natural mind which we talk about coordinates the activities of all artificial minds which are engaged in various activities or variety of activities, you can say. So I should again give you this kind of analogy, because Sunil Bhai, Ashutosh sir will be able to understand this in this manner in a better way. As a company has one head office, and this head office directs activities of different branches working in different towns, you can say, different cities. So the mastermind, the head office, is directing the functions of the artificial minds, which are regional offices. The mastermind has the capacity to govern the activities of the artificial mind, and that too simultaneously. As it is governing its own actions, it is governing what is the regional bodies are doing, it is governing that also. It is very simple. Just as an ordinary man's mind governs the activity of different senses simultaneously, as I was giving you the example of that lady who is busy in the kitchen cooking food, is also involved in so many things. So this mastermind has all the pervasive awareness, due to this awareness, it knows the mind or the artificial minds, and also knows how to control them, or controls all the artificial minds. The head office is the true mind, but there are many artificial mind created. Sometimes वो गाना आप लोगों ने सुना होगा, एक चेहरे पर कई चेहरे लगा लेते हैं लोग. तो बड़ा प्यारा पुराना गाना है, उसके अंदर इतनी गहरी मीनिंग है. ऐसा समझ जाओ कि एक माइंड पर कई माइंड लगा लेते हैं लोग. अगर साबिर भाई को महेंद्र भाई से बात करना हो तो एक चेहरा रखेंगे, और आशुतोष सर से बात करना हो तो एक चेहरा रखेंगे, जय कुमार से बात करना रहो तो दूसरा चेहरा रखेंगे. We know how to communicate with different type of people in different way, and we have that kind of artificial state of experience from the previous experiences to make that artificial mind to interact in that manner. अगर आशुतोष भाई कभी बोलेंगे ना, अरे वो साबिर भाई बड़ा खड़ूस आदमी है, तो महेंद्र भाई बोलेंगे नहीं नहीं नहीं, मेरा ऐसा कभी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं हुआ, वो मेरे साथ तो बड़े अच्छे हैं. तो see the kind of feedback coming, because the person who is there with his own mind is having this kind of different artificial minds in order to carry out the various results that he want or he is expecting. And out of this artificial minds, Patanjali says, Tatra dhyanajam anashayam. Of this, the mind which is born of meditation is devoid of all the previous imprints or the sublime imprints of the previous sanskaras, you can say. It is devoid of it. As the principal mind, we have understood now that it is a product of evolutionary process. It is a storehouse of all the sanskaras which has been gathered through the many lives that you have experienced before. This is like, referring to the first sutra of this Kaivalya Pad. Vyasabhasya points out that this yogic siddhis, which are acquired in 5 ways, the artificial mind can also create, or artificial mind can be created. The natural mind, which is creating the artificial minds. So the artificial minds can be created with those 5 ways. What are those 5 ways? As we just discussed in the first, by the birth itself, it can be acquired. By consuming the herbs, we can have it. Through mantra yoga, through austerities, that is tapa, and through samadhi, that is through dharana, dhyana, samadhi, meditation. Out of this, friends, as this sutra says about janma, aushadhi, mantra, tapaha, the last one, the artificial mind created through meditation, that samadhi, is free, that is created from the meditation, that is dhyanaja. मतलब ध्यान से जन्मा हुआ जो माइंड है, is free from the latencies, is free from the afflictions. And this artificial mind created through meditation, therefore, will not create any kind of attachment to the world. It will remain aloof out of it. So obviously, those who have acquired supernatural powers through the first 4 means, that is janma, aushadhi, mantra, and tapa, they are always running the risk of creating bondages. देखो वो पहला सूत्र जो है कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है, हम सिद्धियां तो प्राप्त हो जाती हैं, तो कभी कभी ना मैं हठ योग के बारे में सोचता हूँ कि हमारे हठ प्रतिपिका में, किरण संहिता में, सिद्ध सिद्धांत पद्धति में ऐसे कहा गया है कि योगी, हठ योगी जो है, अभ्यास करते हुए वो इस लेवल तक आ गया है कि नाउ ही इज ओवरकमिंग द काल दंड, दैट इज ओवरकमिंग द डेथ, इज रोमिंग इन द यूनिवर्स एज अ सेलेस्टियल बॉडी. तो कभी कभी ऐसे लगता है कि maybe they are still attached to something or the other. So they might have excelled to a certain level, but they have not gone beyond it. So as I'm telling you that the first 4 means which are giving you this kind of siddhis are certainly always have the risk of creating bondages, friends. And hence their karmashaya will never be empty. क्योंकि आपने किसी अलग मीन्स का सहारा लिया ना. The past karmas you have taken the
आपको सुनाई दे रहा है महेंद्र जी?
No.
Sabir Bhai is not there in the meeting.
No, he's not. I think he's got disconnected.
Yeah, he'll come back.
आपकी तबीयत कैसी है महेंद्र जी?
Better. There is no fever, but the congestion and cold is still there.
अच्छा, बट अभी दिखाई तो अच्छे रहे हैं आप.
हाँ, मैं
अच्छे
दिखा
दिखाई
था.
दे.
अच्छा ही हूँ.
हाँ.
अच्छा ही रहना चाहिए.
Sabir Bhai.
So, sharing we'll do tomorrow. है ना? So tomorrow anyway we are meeting in the regular hours in the morning. तो कल करते हैं. ठीक है.
So lost the internet connection completely.
Yeah.
अच्छा.
सुनील भाई कुछ बोल रहे थे आप?
नहीं बस ठीक है. मुझे लगा शायद आप accessible नहीं हो तो शायद.
Sabir Bhai was not there, so we used the time to chat.
So thank you for that. Yes, we will continue, and that's what we were discussing about the whole sutra number 6, tatra dhyanajam anashayam. So the mind born out of dhyana, or what we call as the samadhi, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, is always going to be free of the impressions, and it is the right state of the mind which will lead us towards liberation. Okay. Now from the next sutra, that is sutra number 7, we are coming to the karma siddhanta again, the law of action.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
No, tatra dhyanajam anashayam.
Ji.
So anashaya means it is empty of content.
It is devoid of it. Yes.
Devoid of content.
So
Then
devoid of content. Sorry,
then how
please
do we
go
know
on.
it is there?
If the mind which is born out of dhyana, nothing is there.
Yeah. So then how do we know that there is a mind?
That is no mind state itself is like, you are in the process of liberation. So we should have this kind of mind. But there are people who take the other help. That's why Patanjali is making it very clear here. Though I am telling you that there are various sources to gain siddhis, there is a source of janma of the past impression. So past impression chitta is there. So their imprints are there. But at the same time, mantra, tapa, aushadhi, these are the other three along with the past imprints, janma, which is telling us that we are having those impressions there. But here Patanjali makes it very clear that the mind which is born out of dhyana is like a no mind state. When you said, how we will know that there is mind? Of course, there is no mind. यही हमने बार बार हठ प्रतिपिका में पढ़ा. You will attain the state of unmani. You will attain the state of manonmani. What is unmani and manonmani? A state beyond the mind or no mind state. So here Patanjali also makes it very clear to us that if you are getting into the siddhis and some or the other kind of powers, of course you are into yoga, no doubt about it. But still you are feeling your karmashaya, because the impressions are there and you are going to bear the fruits of the same. But the kind of state of mind that you are acquiring out of dhyana, out of the practice of sanyama, where you are completely making it empty, getting it devoid of any kind of subliminal imprints, as I was saying, that is where you are coming to the state of liberation. Earlier हमने वही सोचा कि we should come to a state of chitta which is completely sattvic. which is completely rid of any kind of impressions which is connecting to us to any kind of memories or anything like that. So here there will be no memory as such. It is completely free of it. Ashutosh sir, have I answered your question?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah.
But then my sorry, but my
No,
next
please go on.
question
Please
is
go on. Yeah, yeah.
my next question then is that we are so when the mind which is created by Prakriti is liberated, can we say that it is becoming Purusha? But we are saying Purusha is different and Prakriti is different.
So when the asmita, that is identity, see, chitta comprises of manaha, buddhi, and ahankara. And these three things, if they are losing their vitality with that kind of prakriti aspect, then there is no existence as such. So if it is not prakriti, then what it is? It is Purusha. See, consciousness is having the asmita or the identification of being prakriti oriented, and it identifies itself with prakriti. But the moment this is removed, then there is no, जैसे कि हम कहते हैं ना कि मैंने ये कपड़े पहने हैं, तो हमने क्या कहा? मैंने ये कपड़े पहने हुए हैं. I am identifying myself with these clothes. Now here just imagine that the body is the pure soul and the clothes are the part of the prakriti. The moment you get rid of the clothes, are you with the clothes then? No. You are free of it. So when you are free of it, what you are the pure soul. You are the Purusha. So he says, in order to be like that, you should be into yogic practices which leads you towards meditation, which leads you to Raja Yoga, which leads you to the experience of Samadhi. Unless and until you are reaching there, you will be always connected to something or the other. That is the reason maybe our Hatha yogis have written down in the text that no other part, no other type of yoga guarantees you towards moksha. They talk about jnana yoga, they talk about bhakti yoga, they talk about karma yoga, because all these things are going to bear some or the other kind of imprints, they say. But Hatha yoga with its practice is going to the annihilation of all the, what you can say, earlier latencies or the impressions or the sanskaras. As those are annihilated, if you are not this, then you are this, na? अगर आप ये नहीं है, तो फिर आप क्या हैं? फिर आप ये हैं. So as you asked, कि if you are not Prakriti, then obviously you are Purusha, because Prakriti is getting evolved only in the presence of Purusha. So Purusha is present in the evolution of Prakriti and everything that we are experiencing. The moment those experiences are coming to halt, the moment those impressions related to Prakriti are coming to stand still, and if we are not experiencing it, because Prakriti itself makes you to go through the technique of practicing yoga and come to that state of dhyana. And that is where what has made you to come to that level, even that you have to drop. The moment you drop that, you know what you are. It is like a revelation. किसी ने एक बहुत अच्छी नज्म यानी एक पोयम लिखी. सब लोग लड़ते हैं मिलने के लिए, सब लोग लड़ते हैं मिलने के लिए, हमारी लड़ाई तो जुदा होने के लिए है. तो ये योग जो है ना, ये एक ऐसी लड़ाई है जहां पर जुदाई है, और ये जुदाई प्रकृति से पुरुष की है. नहीं तो अगर रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में अगर हमारी लड़ाई को देखेंगे तो सब जो है जोड़ने वाली बातें, अलग होने वाली बातें तो करते ही नहीं। और ऐसा कहते हैं ना, प्यार मोहब्बत इश्क, रूमी कहते हैं कि सच्चा इश्क तो वो है जहां जुड़ना नहीं है, जुदा होना है। बाकी सबसे जुदा होकर खाली आपको ये जानना है कि आप क्या हैं, दैट्स ऑल। अब लोगों को ऐसा इश्क करने आता ही नहीं। लोग तो ये बोलते हैं अगर तू नहीं मिली तो मैं जान दे दूंगा, ऐसा हिसाब किताब है, पागलपन है। लेकिन यहां तो कहा गया कि अरे उसको छोड़ तो जान जान लेगा कि तू एक्चुअली है क्या। ये बातें जो है ना थोड़ा सा मतलब ऐसा बोलते हैं ना कि when you are into Sufi kind of thinking, such kind of readings and everything will make you to think like that। तो कभी कभी मैं ऐसा कुछ पढ़ता हूँ, रूमी को पढ़ता हूँ या दूसरे सूफी सेंट्स को पढ़ता हूँ, तो मुझे ना ये सूत्र और ये श्लोक जो हम जो पढ़ते हैं ना हठ योग में और योग सूत्र में, ये ऐसा छलकने लगते हैं। फिर पतंजलि ने तो यही तो कहा है कि तुमको ऐसे दीवानगी में आना है कि कुछ और सूझे ही नहीं, कुछ और सूझे ही नहीं। मतलब प्रकृति क्या है इसका पूरी तरह से भूल ही जाना जो है संभव है, और कुछ पॉसिबिलिटी है ही नहीं वहां पे दूसरी। सो दिस इज हाउ वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस। So this is where we are saying that we will be going towards कैवल्य। और आगे के जब, हाँ जी बोलिए।
Sorry, just as a maybe a distraction, sir, in Lord Buddha says that exactly when we are not the mind, what are we? He says it is anatta. We are actually nothing. Okay, वो कहते हैं कि हम जो पर्सनालिटी हमारी है, all this is nothing but the conglomeration of certain let's say atoms. And when that conglomeration, when that coming together, when that breaks down, then we find there is nothing that defines us. So he defined the self, Purusha, whatever you call it, is anatta, and not being. It's difficult to articulate, because we are here speaking of things that lie beyond experience. So it's difficult to articulate, but at least one can say that it's been defined in two completely opposite ways by two schools of thought. One says that it is everything. Purusha is the be all and end all from which everything arises, and other school says that it's actually nothingness. But these are just two sides of the same coin, two ways of expressing the same reality, which unfortunately you and I are not in a position to speak much about because we have no experience of it.
Very, very true. We are just like, the babies who are very much fond of the toys. And all these things are like, toys for us to just understand the reality. And slowly we are maturing and being ahead into understanding these aspects. And then we find that nothing interests you, nothing pulls you. It is like you are becoming completely, what you can say, aloof of everything. Nothing makes you interesting. कि भाई ये चीज करूं तो ऐसा लगे, ये चीज करूं तो ऐसा लगे, ये करूं तो ऐसा लगे। जैसे आज ऐसे लगता है ना कि अभी मुझे मेरे स्टूडेंट्स को ये भी पढ़ाना चाहिए, मुझे ये भी सब्जेक्ट लेना चाहिए, मुझे ये भी टेक्स्ट कवर करना चाहिए, मुझे ये भी बताना चाहिए। ये क्या है? दिस इज ए काइंड ऑफ समथिंग which is making you get acquainted with the prakriti only. But when this knowledge is coming to you, this knowledge itself is telling us that the moment you realize what is the truth, then these things which have been telling you कि this is it, this is it, this is it, I am that, I am that, I am that, जो हमको बताते जा रहे हैं आपको, तो you have to just leave this as it is। क्योंकि अब तक तो खाली इंफॉर्मेशन दिया जा रहा था, अब जो इंफॉर्मेशन मिला है उसको भी छोड़ दो। नहीं तो क्या होता है, साबिर भाई बोलेंगे ना, मेरे पास इतना सारा इंफॉर्मेशन है, जहां मेरे पास इतना सारा इंफॉर्मेशन है, ये बात ही आ गई, उसका मतलब चित्त जो है पूरी वृत्तियों से भरा हुआ है। इट इज वेरी सिंपल एंड क्लियर। जब हम कहते हैं कि ये चित्त की वृत्तियों का नाश हो रहा है, यानी नॉलेज इस कदर हमको प्राप्त हो रहा है कि बाकी की सारी चीजों को ड्रॉप करते हुए हम वो लेवल पे आ रहे हैं कि जहां और कुछ नहीं, वी आर एक्सपीरियंसिंग ओनली दैट नथिंगनेस, एज यू सेड, अनंत। और आगे वो अभी अभी हम जब नेक्स्ट सूत्र देखेंगे, 7th वन, तो वी विल कम अक्रॉस दिस काइंड ऑफ एक्सप्लेनेशन अबाउट द कर्म सिद्धांत, कि what are the 3 things which we should always understand to know the type of karmic impressions we are involved into. If you see the sutra, it says karma, ashukla, akrishna, yoginah trividham itaresham. What does that mean? Action of yogins are neither Krishna, that is akrishna, nor white, that is ashukla. They are of the other 3 types. So karma are neither ashukla nor akrishna. They are of the other 3 types. So what are the other 3 types? The Vyasa Bhashya clearly tells us about 4 categories. Though Patanjali is talking here about the 3 categories, the 4th category is of that of the yogin, which is ashukla, akrishna, जो यहाँ पर define कर दिया गया। कर्म, ashukla, akrishna, yoginah, trividham itaresham. Others are of 3 types. So what are the others belonging to? यानी आप और मैं कौन से कैटेगरी को बिलोंग करते हैं? As per Vyasa Bhashya, the one is black, the other one is white, the third one is mixed. That means black is Krishna, white is Shukla, and the mixed is Shukla Krishna. And the 4th one is ashukla, akrishna, that is desireless. और वो desireless वाली जो बात करते हैं ना, automatically we are coming to the nishkama karma concept of our Bhagavad Gita. That is the 4th type. Now we all know that whatever kind of actions we do, they are causing some or the other kind of impressions, or the actions which are causing sin, or you can say the actions which are harming others, that is the sinful actions, they are known as black. The actions which are virtuous, obviously they are called white. So जो कृष्ण कर्म है गलत बोल सकते हैं हम, और जो शुक्ल कर्म है वो अच्छे कर्म कह सकते हैं। Now friends, how are the karma of a common man? They are mixed. They are Krishna as well as Shukla. You just imagine, for an example, a farmer who is cultivating the soil to provide the food for the society. But the same time, friends, he is causing harm to many creatures living in the soil. Are we aware of that? You can take an example of an industrialist. We can say if we set up a industry, we are creating, or I am creating jobs for thousands of people. But do you also understand that you may be also causing harm to thousands of people with that industrial pollution. See, even in the what we call as the simple act of breathing, the Jainas, they place, ये तो आज हमने मास्क लगाना शुरू कर दिया. The Jainas have been putting this mask for thousands and thousands of years. So when I am saying that even in the simple act of breathing, without which we cannot survive, but while breathing, we are killing thousands of bacteria in and around us. Are we aware of that? अभी साबिर भाई बात कर रहे हैं, जब बात कर रहे हैं तो मुंह से जो आवाज निकल रही है, जो सांस निकल रही है, जो हवा निकल रही है, उसके वजह से ये हवा में जो बैक्टीरिया, वो कई बैक्टीरिया मर जा रहे हैं. क्या फर्क पड़ता है साबिर भाई को? उनको तो लेक्चर देने से मतलब. तो यहाँ पर शुक्ल कर्म तो हो रहा है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ कृष्ण वाली एक्टिविटी भी तो हो रही है. जाने अनजाने में हम ऐसा करते ही रहते हैं. All our actions are mixture of sin and virtue, you can say. When we were going through that second chapter, friends, in the sutra number 12, 13, 14, क्लेश मूलः कर्माशयो दृष्ट अदृष्ट जन्म वेदनीय. So what is pointed here? Karmashay, the storehouse of the past impressions, latent impressions of our actions, they are rooted in what? Kleshas. What are the kleshas? Afflictions. And this kleshas is the source of experience of the present and the future life. Drishta adrishta janma vedani. And that is keeping us into the birth and lifespan, depending upon the type of karma that we are involving ourselves into. So whether the karmas are black, that is sinful, or the karmas are white, that is virtuous, the bhoga, the life experience, that will be always painful or pleasurable. That is also given there in those sutras. So long as the karmashaya is there, liberation is impossible. छुट्टी नहीं मिलेगी आप. जैसा एक बॉस अपने एम्प्लॉय से कहता है ये पूरा काम करो फिर घर जाओ, वैसा पतंजलि भी हमको बता रहे हैं कि कर्माशय पूरा क्लियर करो फिर लिबरेशन मिलेगा. As simple. So this is the work we have to do through the practice of Ashtanga Yoga, friends. So as we say that the liberation is impossible with the karmashaya having all these impressions, and in this chapter, 4th chapter, we have seen how the advanced yogi can create the artificial minds and the bodies in order to exhaust all the subliminal imprints of the past and empty the karmashaya. So generally, there is a motivating force behind any karma, or you can say any action. Any action, if there is a motivating force, it is a desire, a kama, and such kind of action is going to create bondage. But the yogis who perform actions without the expectation or without a desire, as we do nishkama karma, we all know, friends, we have studied it so nicely. Such kind of actions are neither white nor black, Krishna, Shukla. You know, आपके घर में वैक्यूम क्लीनर होगा जो आप लोग लगा के अपने सोफा में का सब कचरा खींच कर ले लेते हैं, है ना? Just as that vacuum cleaner is cleaning all the dust, the nishkama karma is making you to get rid of all the past imprints. It is sucking off all the sanskaras from the karmashaya. This which were responsible for the bondages, they are wiped out with this nishkama karma, and that is where we are enjoying complete freedom, which leads to liberation. So this sutra is just not making us understand what are the types of karma, but it is really connecting to the second chapter and making us realize how we are getting involved into various actions, and we are motivated by it. अभी आज भी ऐसे ही हुआ, जब एनाटॉमी का लेक्चर चल रहा था तो एक फोन आया, और अभी आप लोग हंसेंगे मेरी इस बात के ऊपर, और वो फोन मेरे एक फ्रेंड का आया यहाँ से, और उसने कहा कि वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड फ्रॉम यूएस वांट्स टू टॉक टू यू, विल यू स्पेयर सम टाइम। अभी यूएस की बात सुनते ही साबिर भाई को ऐसा लगा चलो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कॉल है, अटेंड कर लेते हैं। तो बोला हाँ हाँ व्हाई नॉट, और गया कंप्यूटर पे, और वो जो स्पीकर का जो बटन है उसको ऑफ कर दिया, और सामने कोई आवाज नहीं आ रही है। देखो इंसान की प्रवृत्ति कैसे चेंज होती है, मैं यहीं पर आपको लाइव एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं। एंड आई अटेंडेड टू द कॉल फ्रॉम दैट पर्सन। That person says, I have seen all the packages that you give us to do the practices, but you know your timings are not suitable for me. Will you be able to spare some time, especially for one-to-one session with me? अभी साबिर भाई ने 1-to-1 सेशन बंद करके कम से कम 5-6 साल हो गए, लेकिन जैसे ही वो बंदे ने पूछा तो मेरे को ऐसा लगा थोड़ा पैसा ज्यादा मिलेगा है, और एक यूएस में बैठे हुए इंसान को मैं सिखाऊंगा, थोड़ा मेरा लेवल थोड़ा ऊपर आएगा। एक काय का योग सब गया कचरे के डब्बे में है। एंड समवेयर आई एम अंडरस्टैंडिंग द बिजनेस ऑफ योगा नाउ। See how the chitta vrittis fluctuate, and it makes you to take up the opportunity. Why this is happening? It is not because of nishkama karma. It is because of the desire to earn. And earning is not wrong. But we should understand. जैसे कबीर जी कहते हैं ना, दुआ मांगते हैं कि हे ईश्वर उतना ही दीजिए कि मैं और मेरा परिवार खाएं, और उसके साथ जो मेहमान घर पे आए वो भूखा ना जाए, इतना ही दीजिए। लेकिन यहाँ पर तो पूरे सोसाइटी को दावत देने वाली बात हो रही है भाई। हाउ इट विल सफाइस? गड़बड़ है ना, हमारी नीयत में खोट है। तो जहां नीयत में खतरा, तुम्हारी झोली में पत्थरा, ऐसा बोलते, पत्थरा यानी पत्थर। This is the kind of understanding of karmashaya we should always understand, friends. And this is where we lead ourselves into the deep yogic practices. Every now and then you should keep yourself reminding, let me not get influenced by the things around me, but let me be in that concentration, let me be in that meditation, let me be in that absorption where the yoga is helping me to go into that nishkama kind of action where I'm getting rid of everything. This becomes very important, friends. And of this, he says that only those desires will manifest where the conditions are suitable for fruition. Otherwise, they will not. So if you read the next sutra, the 8th one, it says, Tataha tadvipaka anugunanam eva abhivyaktihi vasananam. So this sutra is clearly telling us of those, only those desires will manifest for which the conditions are suitable for fruition. तो जहां पर इच्छा है वहां पर आपके सामने जो है रिजल्ट आ जाता है. So karmashaya is the reservoir of all the latent impressions or the samskaras, you say, and vasana is the force, friends. Vasana is the force that motivates us to go through these impressions to fructify. We can say a soul which goes through many cycles of birth and death, the latent impressions of all the actions during all these lives are present in the karmashe. But just as the seeds sown in the soil remain, dormant for a long period and sprout only when the environmental conditions are suitable. कबीर जी का एक दोहा याद आ जाता है, यहाँ पे फिर से सुनाता हूं आपको। धीरे धीरे रे मनाहा, धीरे सब कुछ होई, पानी सींचई सौ घड़े, ऋतु आई फल हुई। तो जब वातावरण ऐसे होगा तभी ना फल मिलेगा। तो here it is very clear, only those desires or vasanas for which there is a possibility for the fulfillment will come to the surface and make that person experience or go through those actions. And these actions can be anything, friends. They can be animal instincts. At the same time, they may not manifest as desires in the human environment, you can say. इसीलिए तो सत्संग वाली जो बात होती है ना, that becomes very important for all of us. The importance of सत्संग, जो हमारा जो ये क्लास होता है ना, ये एक सत्संग है दोस्तों. We learn anatomy, we learn Ayurveda, we learn Yoga Sutra, we learn Hatha Yoga. In such kind of, I will say, holy company, as we can see here, if one is always in the company of right people like saints and sages, the environment is always going to be favorable for the fructification of good actions or virtuous actions. And only the tendency towards the wrong actions will go on diminishing or attenuated. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, क्लेश तनु करनार्थश्च, हमने पढ़ा क्रिया योग के लिए, समाधि भावनार्थ, क्लेश तनु करनार्थ. So here that tendencies will also get attenuated. और ये हमने भगवत गीता में भी समझा. In the 4th chapter, if you see, the fire of spiritual knowledge, the very seeds of the action will be burnt. So the spiritual knowledge is very essential. That fire should be always going on, not only burning, but at the same time illuminating us to overcome this kind of wrong things in our life. That should go on. इसलिए ना, पढ़ लिया, ज्ञान मिल गया, छोड़ दिया, ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. Every day we should read at least 1 shloka to 2 shloka from that Gita. Every day we should read 1 sutra from this Yoga Sutra. Some or the other kind of feeding should go on happening to our mind. जैसे यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है ना, तद विपाक अनुगुणा. It means the effects of action in the form of subconscious impressions. So we should understand here, even if such impressions are maybe of the wrong type, like animal instincts, the same can also be burnt. If I want to give you an example, if someone is living as a wild animal in previous life and is having a killer instinct, समझो अगर मैं पिछले जन्म में शेर, चीता ऐसा कुछ होगा और इस जन्म में वो किलर इंस्टिंक्ट अगर मेरे में है, if that is dominating my mind as I am born as a human being, through yoga practice, friends, the same killer instinct can be used for killing the mental enemies. That is the beauty of this sutra, making us understand. All the Shadripus, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, can be taken care of. The same vital energy which is used for the hunting of the other animal in the previous janma can be used for the purification of the mind in this human life. That instincts can be utilized for the right purpose, but the spirituality that we are existing is always going to guide us. Coming to the 9th sutra, if you read it, Jati Desh Kal Vyavahitanam Api Anantaryam Smriti Samskarayoho Ekarupatvat. On account of the similarity between the memory and the latent impressions, Smriti, that is memory, and the vasanas, what arises is after the interval of the birth, space, and time. Every kind of vasanas related to the previous impressions will arise. There is always a strong, you can say, exposure between the latent impression and the memory. There is a connection. There is that affinity. They are related, like that cause and effect wala theory. The memory is the effect that recognizes the past impressions or the latent impressions and its cause. So the feeling associated with memory is nothing but vasana, which motivates our actions. See, if I want to give one more addition to these examples, the experience of death in the previous life creates that latent impression samskara. Okay. The memory of this latent impression creates the fear of death. That is what we call as abhinivesha. The instinct of self-protection is born out of it, clinging to life. This is the basic instinct present in all of us. In fact, in all the species, I should say, and remains as it is even after several births, friends. So here in this sutra, as it is said, the latent impression and the corresponding memory of the same is regenerated even after a very, very long time and at a very different place, and even when you are born in different species, if you can say. If one has acquired power, the instinct of power, while leading a life of an animal, the same instinct will dominate when he or she is born as a human being. He will have the natural tendency to rule others. वो instinct जो है ना power का, सबके ऊपर अपना दबदबा जमाए रखने वाली बात, it is always there. So whenever there is an cause, or I should say an exciting cause, the impressions or the latent impressions will get activated. And this is because the memory associated with those past impressions or the latency is instantaneously evoked. इसलिए कई लोगों के ना उनका जो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है हमको उनको देख के पता चलता है कि ये इंसान ऐसे बिहेव करता है. It's all right. It's very normal. He is like this only. And he is like this on our experience of him with the past experiences. The latent impression connected to memory, giving us the desire, turning into action. The impression goes on and on and on. So the only way to come out of this vicious cycle, as we have been studying, is to burn off the latent impressions and emptying the karmashaya, as we have been discussing earlier. We will do 2 more as sir is having class at 4:30, so I will wind up the session within 5 to 10 minutes. I'm having that thing in the mind. So I just don't want to lose you when I'm taking this thing, and I don't want to trouble your other class also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So the next sutra, if you see, तासाम अनादित्वम च आशीषो नित्यत्वात्. They, tasam, the latent impressions, anaditvam, are beginningless. Cha ashisho nityatvat, since the will to live is everlasting. So the will to live is everlasting, and the latent impression are beginningless, as it says from the previous sutra, as we are talking about the cycle or the samskara, smriti, vasana, karma, samskara, as this is the chain which we are going on into, it is going on eternally. But this can be easily seen from this very fact that the will to live is everlasting. Hum jeena chahte hain. The clinging to life is there. As discussed earlier, how can the instinct of survival be explained even in the newly born? Even a newly born chicken, for an example, will run towards its mother when it sees a predator coming onto it, approaching. Now, what is this? This is the will to survive. Ashisha. So the memory of the sorrow associated with the death in the previous life creates this kind of instinct. So with this connection, next says, Hetu phala ashraya alambanaihi sangrahitatvat esham abhave tad abhavaha. It is not tad abhava, it's tad bhava. Yeah. So being held, hetu phala, being held together by that theory of cause and effect, refuge and support, the vasana, desire disappears when the avidya is disappearing. So ये अभाव ही होना चाहिए. I am not reading it properly. Ashutosh sir will guide me here, because here I can see the sutra as tad. तो तद में हलंत, द में हलंत होना चाहिए था, तो अभाव आएगा वहां पे. तो this is where, हाँ, तो वासना will disappear. Sir, how would you say it? You are muted, sir.
हेतु फलाश्रयालंबनैः संगृहीतत्वाद् एषाम् अभावे तदभावः. तद अभावः.
अभाव, yes, that is the right way. तो मुझे लगा मैं गलत पढ़ रहा हूँ, लेकिन then I am correcting myself. Yes, yes. So here, as the previous sutra says that vasana, or you can say the ashisha, is beginningless, anadi. Here in this sutra is telling us that though anadi, it is not ananta. It is not endless. This sutra is clearly telling us how to break the endless cycle of birth and death. हमने सांख्य में सत्कार्यवाद का थियरी पढ़ा हुआ है, which tells us the effect, that the theory of effect, that the effect is present in subtle form in the cause. That the effect is present in the cause, maybe in the subtle form. So if cause is eliminated, effect cannot come into existence. If support, the ashraya is removed, if that cause वाला जो चीज है उसी को हमने निकाल दिया, तो the आलम्बन will collapse, the refuge will collapse. जैसे कि एक बिल्डिंग है, वो बिल्डिंग का नीचे फाउंडेशन है, वो फाउंडेशन को अगर आपने सरका लिया तो ऊपर की बिल्डिंग रहेगी क्या? It will collapse. So we need to understand what is that alambana and how we have to remove it. So here in this whole discussion of karma siddhanta, we have also seen the explanation of the karmas, the shukla karma, which leads to happiness, and this happiness which leads to attachment, and this krishna karma which leads to sins, which leads to misery and hatred, you can say. So raga and dvesha force a person to act. The attachment and the aversion force a person to act. These latent impressions, or the latent impression of these actions, I should say, accumulate in karmashaya, which in turn gives the rise to all the vasanas, all the desires. And here the rag and dvesha are arising out of asmita, as we have learned it. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhiniveshaha, kleshaha. So here the rag and dvesha which are arising out of the asmita or I-ness, which is arising out of avidya, ignorance or lack of awareness, I should say. हमारे मराठी में कहावत है, कळत है पण वळत नाही, but that is ignorance. As simple. So if avidya is eliminated, vasanas will be eliminated. This thing should be very clear, friends. The support is removed, the refuge is going to collapse. So here, as we are, in fact, in the previous chapter of the second chapter, we have understood the 15th sutra. ये 4 सूत्र मैं हमेशा बोलता रहता हूँ, law of karma, 12, 13, 14, 15. That 15th sutra of the second chapter, it is making us understand, for a man of discrimination, the one who is a vivek buddhi or a vivekinaha, one who is having that discriminative state of mind, all the actions are leading to the misery is clear. कि हर कोई कर्म जो है कहीं ना कहीं आगे जाके मुझे तकलीफ की ओर ही लेके जाने वाला है. और यही एक समझदारी अगर कभी इंसान में आ जाए, one can eliminate every kind of वासना, कि ये अगर हरकत मैं करता हूं तो मैं तकलीफ में आने वाला हूं. So friends, avidya is the true cause of that vasana, and with discriminative knowledge, as avidya is eliminated, we all can become free of all the desires, and the kleshas can be uprooted forever. So this is how we can understand the whole theory of law of karma here. Again repeat, ये सब आप लोगों को मालूम है, लेकिन फिर भी कनेक्ट करना, फिर से बार बार समझाते रहना या फिर बोलते रहने से क्या होता है, रियलाइज होता रहता है, और कहीं ना कहीं ये रियलाइजेशन हमारे मेमोरी के अंदर सेटल रहते हैं, और जब हम कर्म करने के लिए जाते हैं तो याद आता है, अरे आई एम नॉट सपोज्ड टू बी एक्टिंग लाइक दिस, एंड दैट इटसेल्फ इज लाइक मेकिंग यू अ बेटर ह्यूमन बीइंग देयर. So we will stop here. It is already 4:25. Yes. So Sunil bhai can take it further now. As it is already said, we are going to do discussion tomorrow. So please go ahead. If anything that you have in your mind to say, yes, please. Or else we will discuss tomorrow.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णम् उदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णम् आदाय पूर्णम् एव अवशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Okay then.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sabir bhai. Thank you, Sunil ji. Thank you, Asha ji. Thank you, Mahendra ji. Thank you, Jay Kumar ji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we
Thank
meet
you
at
very much.
9 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you.